What up, what up, what up? Let's see. I don't love this setup. Let's see if we did this. That's better. Yeah. What up, my brother? All right, I'm going to invite you to join. Like good audio. We're doing a blitzkrieg today. We got 3 interviews back to back. What's up, bro?
Let's go, bro. It's another day, man. Another day of blessed life. I don't know. We're here, man. We're alive. We woke up.
I couldn't agree more. I love the daylight where you're at, man.
Oh man, you know what? The sun might go down as I appreciate that, but the sun might go down as we're doing this. So if it gets dark and you can't see me, just let me know.
Well, it's cool. This is great, and I love how natural light changes as time passes and progresses. All right, bro. I wanted to meet up with you. Man, there's plenty to talk about. There's plenty to talk about. How are you doing?
I'm well. Yourself? Honestly, I'm better than ever.
That's great. That's great. I feel good. Just a little tired, but good. Good.
Fair enough. Yeah, I'm off my third day, so third day of training cycle. So I'm beat up. Tomorrow's a rest day, so I'm excited to just get some downtime, some food in, and relax. Honestly.
Yeah, that's kind of been the theme. Maybe not the theme, but like that's been like the recurring instruction. Like if you want to call it the universe or just like people who care about me. I'm just kind of repeatedly hearing this week that I need to like take a break, which is actually why I wanted to talk to you.
Yeah, man. No, dude. A great philosophy of mine is always looking at working out like as hard as we train is as hard as you need to rest and recover, right? Like, and goes every up has a down, so you got to balance that out.
Yes, yes, I couldn't agree more. All right, so with that being said, I wanted to get, I'm trying to figure out exactly where I want to start. Let's start with let's get into like the Natty King roster.
Yeah,
Have you seen all of the currently like 9 confirmed athletes?
I have. They're all OGs and they're all absolutely stellar athletes, man. Dude, you got a lineup going, and I'm excited to see where this goes.
Okay, okay. As a natural bodybuilder, when you see the 9 that are currently on there, like knowing that you're a competitive athlete in the same sport, like what thoughts come to mind?
Honestly, holy shit, this is actually an opportunity that these guys have kind of carved out over the last 15 years of their lives, 10, 15 years of their lives. Like the guys that you got going on right now are like top notch dudes. And I look up to their physiques and I train every single day going, I can get there one day. And, they're kind of leading the way. So I see them as examples, really. And I kind of see them as, setting it forward, if that makes sense.
Makes sense to me. Makes sense to me.
And I'm young in the sport too. Like I'm 23, so I've been competing since 2022. So that's 3 years of competitions. I've done 5 shows, 3 national shows, and it's like these guys are winning shows in the pro level and the pro ranks when it comes to other federations. And just seeing guys do so well is just so encouraging to see that the sport's growing.
Do you have an idea as to when you might experience your prime physique?
When I first started, I knew maybe this was kind of wise for how young I was. I was 17 and I'm like, I'm not going to see my best physique till my late 20s, early 30s, and I know that because I want to do this the right way. So probably I'm going to start seeing it in the next 3, 4 years.
Okay. Once you reach that prime physique, how long could you imagine sustaining it?
20 years.
I love that.
More probably. Honestly, like my goal is to be able to have a son or a daughter or a family to showcase this physique for, right? Like I want to be able to that be that Jack Dad on the beach at like 45 years old. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, we have plenty of examples, real world examples of athletes competing in their 50s and 60s at the highest level. So that's why I'm personally so stoked about the discovery of this sport. In my personal opinion, and this is exactly what I plan on displaying to the world, natural bodybuilding is the greatest sport to represent longevity and health and wellness outside of like anything.
Yeah.
People
No.
think that like golf is the sport that you can like retire from. Like if you're playing basketball or some other, physically strenuous activity, you retire and play golf into your 60s and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Natural bodybuilding is actually even more effective and has greater longevity. And resistance training is aiming to prove that it's the number one anti-aging routine out of any other physical activity or pursuit. So that's what natural bodybuilding is to me, and I'm really excited to show that to the world. Um, all right, so I'm just gonna get into it. I understand that you think that your prime physique is what you said, like 6 years
Well,
away.
I think that most people should put a good solid 7 to 10 years before they start seeing that true potential come to life, because there's a lot of learning involved. Unless you have like a really, really stellar set of genetics and a stellar set of environment from the get go, I don't think as a natural it's quite achievable. It's achievable to get there with 2 3 years. Like I don't think that's how this works. And as a young guy, I'm 23. I started bodybuilding style training about 4 years ago, and I moved up to the top of the national ranks of the natural level within the first 2 years. So I want to give myself another 4 or 5 before I see that powerful pro level physique where I can do some damage on the world level.
That's fair. That's fair. Um, in your personal opinion,
Hmm.
do you think it would be premature for you to compete against the other athletes on the Natty King roster in 2028?
2020,
Eight.
not dude, all in. That gives me a goal to chase down, man. I'm hungry. Dude, I would love that. Dude, honestly, like I'm progressing so well. I've honestly seen the most progression in the last year, and I'm just starting to really get in the groove too. So, dude, that would be phenomenal.
Dude, I think you should be number 10.
Number 10, bro.
Yeah, I do.
For real?
Yeah,
You
I
mean
do.
that?
Yeah,
Shaun Fury, you mean that?
I absolutely do, man.
Dude,
Absolutely.
I would be honored to carry that torch and run with it and make the most of it and lead by example. And honestly, man, it gives me something I would chase down every single day. Not that I don't already have things, but it's just adding to the list, man. Dude.
Yeah, and that's like this conversation feels like it's already happened because
Hmm.
I feel like I was having it yesterday.
Right.
Um, I've just been like you've been speaking to me in ways that like transcend words and dialogue since we first connected via Instagram Live like several weeks ago, and I just think you have so much heart and so much drive, and you're so focused, and your mindset is so crystal clear as to what this sport means to you.
Hmm.
And I just think you're the perfect person to carry the heart of this movement in a way that the other athletes don't have the ability to. You know?
Man, that means so much to me. That
Yeah.
means honestly the world. And I think what you're referring to on that speaking to each other without the words is it's almost a frequency like we spoke about before. It's when you set your mind to a certain channel, we kind of vibe on that same level, and I'm just going to accept it with open arms. I
Yeah.
really am.
Absolutely. And I think there's also a really great opportunity because I'll be completely honest and transparent. I know I can do that with you. I've been saying, and I'm standing on this, greatest 30-man team in the history of sports and entertainment. And when I first started casting, I was like, all right, we need big guys. We need like genetic freaks. We need people to see this roster and go, oh my god, these guys are natural, right? And as I continue to cast, and it's been such a wonderful, laborious task that I'm so grateful for. And as I start to like continue to like cast people, I start looking at like different storylines, like what's missing. You know what I
Right.
mean? So if I were to cast 30 natural bodybuilders and they all look like genetic freaks, and the audience is looking like this guy's natural, this guy's natural, this guy's natural, all 30 of these guys are natural, it
Right.
kind of creates excuse
Well, it
like
kind of defeats the purpose in a sense because, like we spoke about, it's like that isn't really. it's deeper than that. It's way
Yeah,
deeper than that. You know,
yeah,
like
yeah,
you know what I'm saying. And
yeah,
it's like I totally hear you. And
yeah.
to be you know what, I'm like hungry as heck, right? Like I love what I do, and to be kind of casted at that as that 10th person would kind of, it's like when you look at different movies and skits and TV shows and animes, and like you are right, there isn't always just like big beefy solid, you know what I mean, that lead character role. It's like, let me grow into this, man, dude. I'm going to develop, I'm going to grow, I'm going to learn a lot along the way, and you know what, I can compete with these guys, you know what I mean? So
That's
it is what it is.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was looking for, man. And yeah, I think we can see the growth from your POV because like everyone's got a POV. Have you ever played like a fighting video game?
For sure.
Like what's a fighting video game that you've played?
Like fighting as in like not like a first person shooter, you mean
Street
like fighting?
Fighter, Tekken, Marvel vs. Capcom.
No, you know what? Not really, to be honest with you. To be
That's
completely
okay.
honest, like I played like Mortal
Mortal
Kombat.
Kombat. There you go. Mortal
Yeah,
Kombat.
yeah.
That's a
So
perfect example. Okay. When you play Mortal Kombat, let's say you've got, let's say 30, just for this arbitrary conversation. Let's
sure.
say you got 30 characters.
Yeah, man.
They each, every single one of them has their own backstory. They've got their own origin. They've got their own motivation as to why
Yes.
they're fighting in the Mortal Kombat. And if you play as like the first person player guy, if you're playing as like Shao Kahn and you beat the game as Shao Kahn, he gets his own cutscene, and now you're
Okay.
seeing him win the Mortal Kombat tournament from his POV. But if it's Liu Kang, you get an entirely different story as to how he finishes that thing. So
Yeah.
I guess what I'm trying to say is that if 30 athletes, they all have different stories, beginning,
Hmm.
middle, and end. In the event that you get crowned, your POV of the experience is an entirely different experience than if I got crowned. You know?
Right. Right. Right.
And my job as a storyteller is to make sure that everyone's story is completely fleshed out because you're a living, breathing human being. And there's an opportunity for an audience to see this entire experience from your perspective.
Right. That's so cool that you see it that way, and I do too. And I think honestly, it's also really cool to experience that, you know, some of the characters that we've chosen from the beginning in the top nine, or the first nine, like they're very experienced. They've been around. They've won world champions. Like they've already classified themselves. So to see a character grow and to see a character, like even in Mortal Kombat, like you know there's some characters stronger than the others, but it's such a W when that character you know might not wins, and
Yeah,
then that's what keeps it so interesting and layered. And
yeah,
man,
yeah,
dude, I'm the
yeah,
ball's rolling, man.
yeah. And we're all like this is story driven. This is 100% story driven. All right, so I was going to say something, but then the AC kicked on and it distracted me. Uh,
Oh, you're good. You're good.
are you? I'm going to ask you a question, and I might go back to what I was going to say. Are you currently coaching clients?
I have a handful. Yeah, I
Okay,
am.
okay. How's
Yeah,
that going?
so it's going very well. So actually, I manage a supplement store, Spartan Nutrition. So that's been a gig of mine for a while. So I've been very fortunate enough to meet a lot of individuals trying to change their lives, and I've been kind of leading them the way. You know, I have a client, shout out Ethan, great. He's been doing really well, starting back up with me soon. But honestly, it's been good. It's been really good.
I love that. I love that. What I was going to say, I'm going to say two things. Firstly, this is just for the recording and as to like the psychology as to how my brain's working. One mistake that Vince McMahon, who we're actually borrowing a lot heavily from his playbook as to how he assembled the WWE and made it into $1 billion empire, is he was also really prioritizing the bigger WWE superstars, like physically more impressive, like Kane, Undertaker, The Big Show, Brock Lesnar. Like that was kind of his aesthetic that he was always looking to promote. And it wasn't until I can't remember the year, but there was a moment where there was like a steroid scandal, and the people like Hulk Hogan and Triple H, Paul Levesque, they all had to take a step back because they were kind of exposed for taking steroids. And in walks Shawn Michaels and smaller athletes who are now responsible for carrying the WWE product in light of the fact that like Hulk Hogan had to be removed. I mean, Shawn Michaels, in my opinion, is one of the greatest WWE superstars of all time. and he would not have gotten the spotlight if not for the fact that there was a steroid scandal that had to kind of marginalize the bigger athletes.
I
So
see.
like, I just keep that kind of stuff in mind as
Right.
I'm making these decisions. The other thing I wanted to check in with you on is like with this, I see it personally as a responsibility. Obviously, it's a great opportunity, like exposure, and I don't even how would you even describe the opportunity? Yeah, we'll just ask you that.
How would I describe the
Yeah,
opportunity
yeah. Let's start with
chosen as a
that.
10? Gee, you know what? I firmly believe it's kind of like a responsibility as well, because when I started competing, I want, like, I guess, all right, let me restart that answer. I see it like this. When I started competing, when I started changing my life to be the better version of myself, to kind of be that lead example of what I think the ideal human should kind of go about their life like, I saw it as an opportunity that I now have a stage to do it. You know what I mean? Like, I guess I don't really have a formulated answer fully. It's a responsibility that I guess will unfold as we go because I have an honest, true goal, you know? So I guess here we are. And it's, you know, I see lots of young guys come in, high school guys come in, and I just want people to be good people, you know? And if I can lead by being a good person and have a stage to do it on, here we are, you know?
Yeah, man. I personally see this stage that we're creating right now as an opportunity to showcase the person that you are off the stage.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and yeah, we've got some really great physiques on the roster, but what I feel like the roster has been missing is we need champions. You know, we need champions that have a pulse on why.
Yeah.
Like, why are they doing this?
Yeah.
Like you see this as a responsibility,
Yes.
whereas other athletes might see it as an opportunity. You know?
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes. I
yeah,
feel like it's a well, you know what? It's actually both. It's a responsibility to take the opportunity. Because if you don't see it as both, you're kind of doing injustice, really. Like you can't see it as you can't see it as a single avenue. It's a responsibility to showcase the best version of yourself, and you know, here we are.
yeah.
Like I always refer to here we are because I like to be so present, but it's both,
Yeah,
100%.
yeah, I love that. As the story designer, I like to refer to myself as a story designer. And what I mean by that is like I just play assistant to the story that you're telling, because like you're telling your own story. Now
Yeah,
your story has been added into the Natty King roster, but it's still your story, and I'm just assisting.
for sure.
What kind of support? How can I help you? How can I help you?
I think a lot of deeper questions, you know, like you're really pulling it out of me. You know, I'm always thinking, like I'm a constant thinker. I think deep, I go through my posing every day. I go for my walks every day. I'm very analytical of my environment. I observe, but I don't think I get a chance to speak it out as often. So prompts, questions get to really pull it out of me. And I think showcasing the depth of my thought process might be something that I really would honor and cherish.
I love that. And I'm honestly very interested in your thought process, your mindset. And you have such a clarity of vision that I would really like to dive deeper into because it's almost like, it's like, what would Jesus do?
Yes.
It's almost like, what would Sam do? You know, like, because you
Yes.
seem like you're very in touch with your identity,
Yes.
and perhaps maybe we can even spend a little bit of time right now like
Yeah,
trying
man.
to
Of
trace to the core
course.
of your identity. How
Say
would you
that again.
describe how would you describe the core of who you are?
The core of who I am.
Yeah, in as
From
few
what?
words or as many words as possible.
So the core of who I am, I feel like I'm a provider for the people that can't quite see maybe the next best step yet. So providing information, providing value, providing insight, a helping hand if it's physical. Hey, I love holding doors for people. I mean, that sounds cliche, but it's like it's the small things, right? It's like, so I guess provision from all senses, providing a standard, providing it all. Like I really believe that that's who I am deep down, and that just manifests in all sorts of ways that I think benefit the world. And I live through that lens on a day-to-day basis. How can I benefit the world? How can I provide? And how can I be a better human so that hopefully people can pick up on that and take it with them?
Tell me some low moments in your life, internally or externally, or maybe it was a little bit of both.
Sure. Low moments of my life, man. The beginning of high school. Dude, I did grade 9 science class 4 times. I failed it 4 times. But guess what? I finished high school honor roll, 92% average. I loved what I did. I even went back for another semester to do more business courses and such. But that time of my life, I didn't know who I was, where I wanted to go. And honestly, I was a mess. I was hanging around the wrong people. And, my outer life kind of looked like that too, right? The internals weren't working. So that was a very bad time. The beginning of high school was very bad, but it taught me so much.
How did you transition out of that time period into the person that you are now?
I started allowing people to inform me, and I started dropping my ego in a sense. I really took a step back. I looked at things big picture. I started educating myself formally in a sense. I started advocating for myself. I really started seeking out sources of information like Jordan Peterson, um, and really just knew that if it wasn't going to be me, who is it going to be? Because I had this sense and drive in me from day one. I remember being a little boy and knowing I'm going to do something special in this world. And if I don't get it together, how is that going to happen? Who the heck wants to follow somebody who doesn't have it together? And then I realized I'm building the puzzle here. So let's start with the first piece.
I love that. I love that. There was a saying that I saw on Instagram. My freaking algorithm is so curated to like brain frequencies now. It's pretty cool. It only took like freaking however long I've been on Instagram. But there was a quote today: "Ego isolates, the soul connects."
Hmm.
So, like, if you dive deep into your ego, yeah, you might feel powerful and almighty, but you're not connecting with other people. Whereas if
Yeah.
you like sacrifice the ego, shelve it, put it over there, and you live like a soulful life, that draws people in. That makes people want to interact with you. You know?
Yes, it's pure authenticity. You're getting rid of that idea that what others think of you matters. It's like you kind of just live through the lens of the best version of yourself. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, I can't tell you how it's still a battle for me. In fact, this is actually a great segue into the question. When I brought the professor Oscar Mosket on, it was myself, Valley Muscle, my training partner, Zach Moore, and Oscar. We were all on a four-way Instagram live, and I asked the three of them because we're using. I don't know if you're familiar with Joseph Campbell. You did mention Jordan Peterson, so you might have some familiarity with Joseph Campbell.
Yep.
Okay, so
Absolutely.
he did the Hero with a Thousand Faces and the Power of Myth. And to this extent, you probably already understand that the Natty King project and the Nattyverse is heavily grounded in mythology. That's
Yeah.
how we actually make something a bigger deal. And
Yes.
that's an opportunity for anyone to like turn yourself into the hero of your own epic story or narrative.
The hero's journey, right?
Exactly. So the Natty King and the crown of the Natty King is mythologized, and there's like magical properties associated with the actual object of the crown. Are you familiar with Thor and his hammer Mjolnir?
Yes, I am. I'm
Okay.
not familiar in the sense of I understand all its aspects, but I understand exactly what it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So Thor's hammer Mjolnir, there's an engraving on it that his father Odin did the magical stuff where whoever is able to lift this hammer shall have the powers of Thor, the thunder god, right? And then there's a big moment at the end of Avengers Endgame where like Captain America picks up the hammer and it's like, oh my god, he's worthy,
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
worthy, oh my god, right? So we're essentially doing that for the crown of the Natty King.
Okay.
In fact, there's going to be it's like its own segment where I actually cast the Forge Master, who's responsible for forging the crown, and it's going to be like the most distinguished crown in the history of humanity. I'm even
Yeah.
thinking it might just be like straight metal and like no gold, but that's just me brainstorming out loud. Like, have you ever
Yeah.
seen like a metal crown? Me, I haven't. I think
I
it'd be kind
hear
of
you. I hear you.
yeah, because it's like very what's the word? Chill. Like it's like it's not extravagant. It's like the opposite of
Right.
extravagant, right?
Right. It's like you're neutralizing it.
Yes. Yeah. And it also goes back to like the weight and the responsibility. If you're wearing the crown, it is not necessarily a thing to celebrate. It's something to like take with honor. You
Right.
know.
It's like it's. I hear what you're saying. It's like it doesn't matter what the crown looks like. What do you do while you're wearing the crown that matters?
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And it's so important that the winner of this whole thing understands what to do once they become the Natty King, you know?
100%. I get.
Um, but that being said, so we're mythologizing the title, we're mythologizing the crown itself, and we want to suggest that you and me and everyone associated on the roster are going through a magical transformation in order to be worthy to wear the crown.
Right.
And I asked the question to Oscar, Zach, and Valley, what would prevent you right now in 2025 from being worthy of wearing the crown in 2028? Oscar said
Right.
he said that he doesn't really want it. He doesn't want to be the winner because like it's more of a burden. Like he's already like he only got into bodybuilding because he saw his genetics and enough people were egging him on. So he's like, "Fuck it, I'll do it."
Right.
Right? Zach is a nihilist, so he doesn't care about anything. He's kind of like Thanos. Thanos is a nihilist. And then Bally, we were able to determine that his journey is one of inner peace. So in
Right.
order for him to be worthy to wear the crown, he has to achieve inner peace, and we would
Right.
have to see that transformation over the course of the next 2 years, right? 3 years.
Right.
So, directed to you,
Hundred
what would
percent.
make you unworthy, and what's the journey that we would see over the course of the next 3 years that would allow you to be worthy?
So I would say that because I'm young and I'm building my physique up, and as we spoke about, I'm not quite, I would say, as complete as some of the other members on the team and the cast, that accumulating muscle and becoming that armored warrior honestly takes time. So for me, it would be a physical battle, but with a slight twist of mentality. Like, I think I've developed a mentality to build a physique, so now it's time. So I think that I need to armor myself physically and kind of build up that armor thick enough to be able to carry that crown.
I love it. I love it. That's beautiful. That's beautifully said. I definitely think that like the storyline that we would be running with is you've got the biggest heart, you know, and I think that's going to be like incredibly emotionally resonating for people. You know, it's like those are like the favorite main protagonists in anime anyway. Like Naruto's got like super huge heart, so it's there. And then it would just be again showing that transformation over the course of the next 3 years. What else? What else?
So I
Going
think
back. Mhm.
experience level, like as a young and up and comer and someone who's kind of I've already proved myself that I can play on this level. But I think, just experiencing more opportunities like this and kind of bringing more perspective from different places would also be beneficial too,
Mhm.
you know?
What do you think that you could do so far as actionable steps to make sure that you're getting that kind of
Yeah,
experience?
I think actionable steps would be just traveling to different environments, meeting different people when it comes to different gyms, different countries, different cultures, different languages. Like I want to travel the world. I want to know where everybody's coming from. I want to be able to kind of have this more balanced viewpoint of where people come from because I feel very privileged coming from Canada, and I don't know if the guy that I'm competing with at this international show ever had the same opportunities I had. And how did you get on the same stage as me with less? And I want to know how and why. And I want to be able to share his story and understand that part too.
Yes. Okay. Okay. So we're definitely aligned in that. I also still like please understand that like you're the main character. You know what I mean?
Yep.
You are the main character. So as you continue in your journey and you step on stage, you go to other gyms. Yes, compile the knowledge and absorb the friendships and the information and the connections and stuff like that. But I want you to internalize it and make it yours. This is
Yeah.
your journey. This is your experience of ascending the ranks and becoming worthy to actually be crowned the Natty
Yeah.
King. This is your journey.
Yes, and I think it's just having more perspective from other people will allow me to navigate my own trials and tribulations to its full potential.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Another note, just like off the top of my head, I think you're very good at speaking, but don't limit yourself. Like you're coaching, so like that requires a high level of communication with you and your clients. But what I'm really looking for within the natural bodybuilding space are advocates.
Okay.
I really need athletes who are comfortable talking on a microphone, let's say on a podcast format, or even like a news outlet, like
Hmm.
freaking CBS or Fox News. You know,
Yeah.
like yeah, like I want you to be able to see yourself talking to I don't know Pierce Morgan or somebody as
Yep.
to like the issue within the sport of bodybuilding and how it's been
Yeah.
like steroid heavy for decades, unnecessarily so, unnecessarily so,
Yep.
and like
No,
the
that would be ideal, work my way up to that point. Honestly, funny story. When I was growing up, I remember being in grade 7 and I remember telling my dad, like, I want to be a motivational speaker. And he's like, and I'm like the kid that like hates presentations in front of the class, right? And I'm shaking there and I don't know what to say and I'm freezing. So to be able to kind of have a platform to speak on these things and dude, that'd be a dream come true.
That's amazing. That's exactly what we need, and it feels like I'm the only person who's like that comfortable talking at length. I feel like I could talk for honestly like 5 hours about this issue because it is really such an issue, and I'm incredibly passionate. And
Yeah.
I know that this is what's required in order to change the landscape of the sport. So we can even dive a little bit deeper into that.
Yep.
All right, so there's so many thoughts happening. I'm like really trying to keep my brain organized. But you understand that we're working backwards from an anime concept, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so the anime is supposed to take place 20 years after the first crowning of the Natty King, and all the athletes who first step on stage in that first iteration in 2028, they become immortalized as the original 30 in the
Right.
20-year time span, right? Within that gap, there is a lot of opportunity to further build the lore and the mythology of natural bodybuilding. And what I would like to kind of start directing or navigating the sport, I want to take it a bit further away from the way that it's currently perceived and presented as it's like the younger brother, the ugly stepchild of the enhanced side.
Yeah.
Because like if you compare the two and it's like apples to apples, which it isn't, but if you're comparing it apples to apples, then you just have a smaller apple on the natural side and a way bigger apple on the enhanced side. And of course, the audience is thinking, well, why would I watch the smaller apple if the bigger apple's over here? I don't care about this, you know. So my proposition to the natural bodybuilding world and community is instead of like trying to have this like for like comparison, we actually dive deeper into the discipline and the lifestyle as to like what it takes to be a natural bodybuilder. And I actually draw a lot of inspiration from Bruce Lee and Jeet Kune Do, the way of the intercepting fist,
Yep.
where it becomes more of a philosophy and a way to live life with a
Yes.
mindset and a physical activity that you're really only doing to further sharpen the mind. So, with that perspective, we are always competing. We are always in competition with ourselves in the same way that Bruce Lee was always looking to improve and grow. That's what a natural bodybuilder is really supposed to represent. And then a competition such as a bodybuilding show is simply just an opportunity to show your prowess and growth alongside other athletes.
Yes.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Beautiful. Man, I completely align with that.
Great, great. With that in mind, to me, this is kind of like the beginning of this is just me. I feel like we're kind of forming a Jedi Council, like the first Jedi Council.
Mm-hmm.
And the way that I would like to promote the athletes, natural bodybuilding, you're pursuing your mind, body, and spirit, the peak version of all three. And through that, which will be displayed in the anime, through that they do unlock superhuman abilities, so far as perception, perhaps spatial awareness, perhaps the ability to see into the future. I've already kind of talked about certain things that have already been discussed in other content as to like hints that the human mind can do more and the human spirit can actually achieve more beyond what the current limits of our reality suggest. And then you have someone like Bruce Lee who has been suggested to be a superhuman, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I say all this to say, mythologizing the athletes of the Natty King roster, I want you to think of like, okay, so if you're in the future, 20 years in the future, you're like a master natural bodybuilder, similar to like a Qui-Gon Jinn, and you've got your own disciples, you can start visualizing the type of philosophies and the way that you talk to your future students in a way
Yes.
that would be similar to like a Jedi talking to a Padawan. Because that's
Yes.
exactly the direction that we're going in so far as
Man,
like what the sport's supposed to represent for natural bodybuilding.
you are blowing my mind, and I love it.
Good,
Honestly, yeah.
good.
This this is real neat. This is real neat because I've always honored the teachers and the mentors ahead of me and the people that have introduced me to different ways of viewing life just by one simple word maybe, and the power behind that, and to be able to step into that character at some point in my life would be, here we are, man. Here we
Yes,
are.
yes, exactly, exactly. Yeah, so there is going to definitely be some restructuring later. I've got 3 interviews scheduled, so you're the first one, and then I'm talking to a female natural bodybuilder, and then I'm
Okay.
talking to my homie Yoshi directly after that. What I'm going to be discussing with Yoshi is I want to kind of I want to redesign posing as it's currently presented. Right now, it's not, we haven't hammered it down. It's like,
Okay.
it's too inconsistent. You
Okay.
got one athlete who's going on stage doing splits, killing it,
Right.
freaking
Right.
throwing out the wazoo. And then, like, the next athlete, he's just like, and like,
You're right. You're right.
yeah. And
You're
there's a whole
right.
lot of inconsistency. So, again, if we're referring back to, and this is the type of storyteller that I am, if we're referring back to like the original Jedi Council, let's say posing is our lightsaber forms, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I want, I want routines. I want replicable routines
Yes.
that as the original starting 30 athletes, there's an opportunity to kind of create choreography that we
Yep.
would see in the anime 20 years in the future.
Yes. Absolutely. Staple shots. Let's go.
Staple shots, exactly, and staple moments that are constantly paying homage to the original
Yes.
30, and we're paying homage to the legacy of bodybuilding and natural bodybuilding that came before us. So
Love
it
it.
becomes like a beautiful paying homage over and over again. Just
Well, yeah, like even like if you had like like I this weird thought came to my brain, right? So there, like the last supper, the last dinner with like Jesus, and there's just like everyone knows what that looks like, right? There would be like the original 10 in like their own unique shots, and there would be like, you know what I mean, like some type of poster that like you look and you go like, holy cow, remember when natural bodybuilding started taking off in that direction? And like
yes,
you can like open a comic book, or you can open the anime, or you can see the movie cover, and it's like that's them, bro.
well said. Well said. Well said. And honestly, this is exactly why, like, I'm not playing as active of a role consciously in the story design anymore, just because as more brains attach themselves to the project, I don't have to do as much mental work because
Okay.
it's like
Yeah.
you're brainstorming with me, and you might say something right now that will hit me 48 hours from now, but I didn't have to think about it. It's just something that you said, and then my brain reflects for the next 48 hours, and it's like, you know what, something Sam said, and then just connect the dots, and then we have a new concept, right?
Yeah.
I kind of span off for a second off of that, but essentially I wanted to close out the 10-man roster for this year, and close casting until 2026, as this will give me some opportunity to like actually take a step back. Because, like I said, like I'm getting a little burnt out with all of it, you
Okay.
know, and I need time to like generate revenue, because we have to start traveling. Like this
Yep.
can't just be Instagram Live, because
No, 100%.
there
And
needs
I,
to be an evolution. There needs to be an evolution.
yep.
Okay, so that's a great segue to understand your coaching practices.
Understand
Because
my
yeah,
coaching practices.
mm-hmm.
So I like to keep it pretty holistic and basic, honestly. I don't work with competitors yet. I don't believe I have enough in me knowledge-wise to be able to bring somebody to the stage to their full capacity. I'm still learning a lot of that stuff. So I do a lot of just regular. I do some weight loss clients. I do someone just trying to tone up for the next 6 months. I do a lot of that stuff. So my philosophies are very nutritional and grounded based. So if you, how can I explain it? Every individual comes to me with a different problem. And if I have the ability to kind of change your view on how to take the next best step, I will. And that's just kind of how I see it. I kind of take you in and I learn you as a person and see what makes you tick, see what makes you drive, and then I kind of work with that. If that's just kind of my base.
It does. It does make sense. It does make sense. Um, do you have Do you have any ideas as to, again, working backwards?
Yeah,
What do you think it would take for the majority? Let's just start with the Western Hemisphere, because I don't even have that much information as to how the Eastern side of the world is living and like their health and wellness prioritization. So just
yeah,
stick with Canada, North America, and Mexico, and all
yeah.
that. What do you think it would take for people, the majority of people, to be more health conscious and desiring of their optimal longevity, etc.?
100%. I think viewing themselves as a system and a machine that requires upkeep. So if you just think you're Billy Joe that walks down the street every day and gets a hot dog because it's convenient, well, you're damaging certain systems within the bodies, and that, long term isn't the greatest for you. And if you want a healthy, happy life, you're going to have to start seeing yourself as, like I'm saying, like a system. You need to upkeep the parts. It's like a vehicle. You got to put the right fuels in your body. So I think just more self-awareness in general, reflecting upon oneself would be really, really ideal, I guess.
Okay, okay. All right. I want to. This is like the idea that I've been working on as I'm going deeper into my own coaching services. Um, I kind of. Yeah, let me get your thoughts on this.
Yeah, sure.
So, if you like, give me a sport that you've played in the past.
Hockey.
Hockey. Okay. So let's say you're 20 and you want to get into hockey, right?
Yep.
What? Who do you have to talk to? Who do you have to interact with in order to learn how to play hockey?
I would say someone who's previously played, the
Right.
experience.
Exactly. Exactly. So what I would like to suggest is that if we were to gamify the experience of life, right? And
Right.
let's say we were to treat life like a sport or a game like hockey or tennis or basketball. And then the client is an athlete who is playing the sport or the game of life.
Yeah.
Then the coach would be a lifestyle coach,
Uh-huh.
and the client would be a lifestyle athlete. And we would now be helping them learn the tools and knowledge in order to peak their performance in life.
100%. I think the only part I see of that is kind of, there could be inconsistencies, is philosophy on what that outcome actually is, because someone might live a certain way and style that's completely different than mine, right? Like you're saying, let's say on the Eastern Hemisphere, we're keeping it Western Hemisphere, but they may live certain ways and do certain things that completely upscale their life and make it a more beneficial, balanced, healthy, fulfilling life. But here it's not the same thing. So I guess getting others, the athletes or those individuals, to see that might be difficult, because those philosophies may vary wherever you go.
So here's my observation, and um, my mentality is all about like greatest of all time. That's honestly the only thing I'm interested in. I don't want to partake in a sport or a pursuit if I don't see an opportunity to be the greatest of all time in that pursuit. Like that's just how my brain works.
Yeah,
I don't know what value that has to a casual. I personally don't know what value it has to a casual. And the way that like I'm moving through this whole thing, it's like I almost don't want to work with a person unless they have this desire to like to be the best that they possibly can at
right.
this pursuit. And if you look at it from that perspective, I do believe that there are universal foundations
I
for how you can peak your mind, body, and spirit to align with your goal of being the greatest of all time or the best in the business. You know?
100%. So like it's all the same framework, but the content within the framework may vary, but that doesn't really matter because those pillar foundations are really what's getting you there in the first place.
Right. So what I'm seeing is like I'm seeing something of like kind of like a cross between Michael Jordan and his coach Phil Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Jordan was driven to be the greatest basketball player of all time, and Phil Jackson, the coach, was able to work with Michael Jordan and unlock his potential and optimize it to the level of the things that he was deficient in when he was first starting out in the league. He wasn't a great leader. He was like very focused on himself, and Phil Jackson was able to work with him and get him to understand. Listen, if you want championships, you need to be a locker room leader. You need to be taking out the other players to like. You need to like socialize. You need to like get them comfortable. Michael Jordan being so focused on being the greatest of all time and understanding that he wanted championships, he was able to take the advice of Phil Jackson. Apparently, he was very coachable, very coachable. But again, it's that he already had the mentality that he wanted to be the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
So I guess if there's anything I'm talking, it's like, can we instill the desire of peak performance mentally, physically, and spiritually within the hearts and minds of others?
Can we instill it? I believe that we can uncover it. I believe that it's already there. I believe that people already have it within them. It's just what what series of perspectives do you need to give this person to be able to want it for themselves? And that's, I think, where the question is, because I think every soul has the opportunity to take up a life of greatness. I just think they might not have had the perspective shift yet.
Do you think that a person, a random person, feels sad when they get to the end of their life and they realize that they didn't actualize their potential?
I think that that's common. That it's very common that people get to the end and don't quite, see themselves as fully fulfilled. Yeah.
Do you think it would, what kind of value do you think it would be for us as individuals to help people remind them of the potential that they didn't tap into at whatever stage in their life and to remind them that there's still time? Like, what kind of value do you think that has?
Immense value, honestly, because even just even just seeing someone realize that today is the only day they have and they can change their actions immediately, like seeing that shift in the light turn on is so rewarding, honestly, like really.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's definitely my focus, and that's now that we've finished out casting for the 10 athletes for this year, going to return to casting in 2026. I'm going to be realigning my content to focus on how I can actually help people remember the potential that they were born with
Yeah,
and aim to draw out the desire to actualize it.
that's amazing, man, dude. I firmly align with that.
Cool, cool. Well, dude, you've got the words, you've got the mindset, and honestly, you've already hit the needle on the head. Or
I don't think that's it, but you're close.
I'm sleep deprived, so like
That's all right,
I feel
man.
very self conscious. I feel like I've been rambling more than I usually do.
No, you're good. You said you were tired, and that's okay to be tired. You're human. You're an organism, bro. Get
I
some rest.
appreciate it. Yes, but what I was going to say is that we understand that your theme is growth. Like you've got all the raw potential. Like we can all see the raw potential, and the
Thank you.
enthusiasm and the passion and the heart is like it's palpable, which is why I reached out to you. So like now let's see the growth. And dude, okay, these are my final thoughts directed at you.
Let's hear it.
Don't cap your growth to just your physical.
Okay.
Don't cap your growth to like, your journey as a bodybuilder. You're
Yeah,
also a coach.
I am.
There's like we're barely scratching the surface of the value of a coach.
Yes.
Like in sports and entertainment, like we are barely scratching the surface. Coaches serve tremendous value, and we're going to be able to explore that over the course of this storyline and others. But like coaches, dude, they're super cool, and just because they're not the ones on the court, and like we will be, because like we're coaches and athletes, so we get to do like super cool shit. But like, dude, coaches are understated, just as a
Yeah,
whole,
I
completely understated.
totally agree. And
Yeah,
on that topic, I recently did a coaching switch when it came to my bodybuilding career, and I think in a very, very, very positive direction. I'm not going to name any names and such, but I made that choice very consciously, knowing that my true potential is not being fulfilled, and I'm chasing it. I need more growth. I need more growth, man.
yes, yeah. Okay, so yeah, that was the thought that I wanted to get across. It's like let growth be your theme. You know what I mean? For the next
That's
3 years,
another.
for onwards, like just growth in all aspects, growth in relationships. And please take note, if you journal, please continue journaling. But I really encourage you to be able to articulate the growth that you're experiencing in all facets of your life,
Okay.
physically, mentally, and spiritually. The better you can talk about your growth, because that's your journey, the better you can talk about it. I mean, it tells itself.
You know what? I think that's just going to be repetition. Repetition every day. I'm going to speak. I'm going to. It'll come. It'll
Yeah.
come.
Oh, I believe in you. I mean, we wouldn't be having this particular conversation if I didn't believe in you. So
It'll.
you've got my faith. I believe in you. You've got my 100% support. I am your ally. So please let me know how I can continue to help you. You've already told me, like, ask thought-provoking questions. Dude, I can do that all day. And dude, Shaun Fury with prep time is even better. So like,
Oh,
thank you. All right, so I have another interview in 5 minutes, so we'll wrap this one up. But I'm super stoked. It was always 15 star athletes and 15 OG veteran world champion athletes. So you are coming onto the star athlete side, and we're so welcome to have you. I'm stoked. I think you could carry this whole project on your own shoulders. I personally believe that. Like just with the heart and passion that you have for this sport and your own mentality, I think you could carry this entire project. And the good news is that you don't have to, because I'm here.
right on,
So,
baby. I am forever grateful. You know what? It sounds crazy, but I knew this would happen. You know, yeah,
dude, and it's so rare that you know it before I do. Like I typically know it
you
first.
know, it's. I know you have an interview in like a few minutes there, man. I was literally talking to my girlfriend Emma. Shout out, she's the best. We've been together for 5 years. I love her so much. I was talking to her in the kitchen about your ninth athlete. I was like, look at this guy. Like this guy here. He's a genetic phenom. I absolutely admire it. Like, you know what? I may not be there yet, but my goal is to get on this roster, and I'm going to get on this roster. And bro, you literally connected with me on a wavelength that I don't think most people understand. And I hope that one day they can understand. So let's keep being the coaches and the leaders we can be, man.
Yeah.
I'm all in, bro.
Yes, 100%. And last thing, please, please try to be observant of how like the sequence of events between now and the actual tournament occur, because there's a whole like this is a magical experience. Like the Natty King does have magical properties.
Hmm.
There's a whole like synchronicity. I was just thinking that, and you're saying the thing I was thinking. That's happening to like if you're tuned in, it's happening.
Yes.
So please take notes, pay attention, because we're gonna go back and tell this story in a multitude of different ways. You could get your own feature length film, and like that's a scenario that could happen. So like, please take notes. Remember as much as you can. Continue to communicate with me, and let's keep going.
Aye, aye.
All
Here we
right.
are, man.
All right, man. Well, welcome to the team. Congratulations, and
Thank you.
yeah, let me know if you need anything. We can keep the channel open.
Yeah, man. No, man. The best of luck to you in your next interview. I really appreciate your time and efforts. It's paying off. Here we are.
Let's go, Sam. All right, bro. I wish you a great rest of your weekend, and we'll talk to you soon. All right, brother.